Tens of thousands of people in Japan have been scanned for radiation exposure by medical teams wearing white suits and carrying Geiger counters. When radioactive iodine enters the body, it settles in the thyroid. Children are especially vulnerable. When the Chernobyl nuclear reactor in Ukraine exploded in 1986, people living nearby were exposed to unusually high levels of radiation. Experts say more than 6,000 children got thyroid cancer as a result of that exposure. Dr. Edwin Lyman is with the Union of Concerned Scientists.
Radioactivity is bad for children because it can damage DNA and affect the way cells divide. And children have cells that divide more rapidly than adults because they're growing.
Health experts now know that some of these cancers could have been prevented if the children had taken potassium iodide before being exposed to the radiation. Unless you're scanned, it's impossible to know how much radiation your body has absorbed, and the terminology can also be confusing. Dr. John Su is Chief of Radiation Oncology at the Cleveland Clinic.
One way of measuring is through REM. Another way is looking at something called a sievert. Because the sievert is a very large unit, we typically measure things in millisieverts. And just to give you an idea, chest x-ray is about 0.2 millisieverts.
Dr. Su says the average person should not be exposed to more than 1 millisievert per year. If a person were exposed to 17 sieverts, or 1,700 REM, it would likely result in a fatal cancer. Thursday morning, a spokesman for the Japanese power plant sought to reassure a frightened populace that the radiation levels around the damaged reactors were going down.
The changes in the level of radiation as of March 17th, today at 9:30, was 3,786 microsieverts per hour. An hour later at 10:30, it went down to 3,750, a bit lower than previously.
Professor Robert Baker from Texas Tech University has studied the radiation effects around Chernobyl.
The amount of radioactivity that kills humans is a substantial amount. If you don't get that much radiation, then the effect for the rest of your life is certainly not easily measured.
What counts is not only the amount of a one-time immediate exposure, but how much radiation a person is exposed to per hour, or regularly over weeks and months. An exposure of 4 or 5 sieverts per hour could require a bone marrow transplant. A review by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology says the highest radiation levels so far at the Fukushima plant have been around 400 millisieverts, rates that are high enough to cause radiation sickness within 2 or 3 hours. That level quickly dropped, and other readings have been far lower. And the levels also drop quickly the farther away from the damaged plant the measurements are taken. Carol Pearson, VOA News.
City decided the